Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost. Peekaboo. I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available New Year's 2022 going into 2023. The album Dad F. I wanna rock and roll all night. Peace and party every day. How are you guys doing today? Okay. Oh, I forgot my lip gloss. Where's my lip gloss? It's over there. Well, we'll just have to get through this video without my lip gloss, and that's okay, because I'll wear it in my next video, because today is a twofer Wednesday. I'm going to be making 2 drama videos today. I'm actually going to also be pre-filming a video. I'm going to be doing my drama bingo card for 2023, so stay tuned. That will be posted sometime this week before the New Year's. I printed up my little bingo card, and I have all of my bingo things on there for things that I speculate will be happening in the new year. So if you want to see what I think is going to happen in 2023, stay tuned and come over to my channel. And then I also have another drama video that's going to be posted later today after this video. But I wanted to do this video today because I have been sent this TikTok. Well, I've been sent 2 TikToks actually by so many people. And the first TikTok is by a Morphe employee that kind of spoke out about her store closing. And I want to talk about that. I'm going to show you the TikTok in just a second. And then the second TikTok is somebody shopping. And I'm not going to show you this one. But the second, because it has like music in the background and stuff. The second one is somebody that is shopping in Morphe. And they show the different areas of Morphe and how completely empty it is. And that Morphe is selling things for like 99 cents. $2, $1. I mean, they are getting rid of literally everything, okay? And I've been sent tons of that. And apparently, there's a lot of speculation that Morphe is closing store after store after store and giving very, very little notice to their employees. I mean, literally giving them like days notice or a week's notice when they close down their store because of several lawsuits that are going on. Now, I will tell you, I am not going to be talking tons about the lawsuits in this video. I'm going to reference it a little bit, but Dustin Daly did a fantastic video. He did actually 2 videos about Morphe closing their doors and the lawsuits. So if you want to go check those out on Dustin's channel, please do. I'm going to link his channel below, and you guys can go check that out after you watch my video. So go check them out, because he did a really good job talking about the different lawsuits that are going on. And one of the lawsuits like the third lawsuit that has been filed is by Playa. And I'm going to reference it in something that I talk about. But the original TikTok that I was sent is by a girl named Dani. And I'm not going to show the first part of the TikTok because there's music in it and things like that. But the first part of the TikTok is somebody on TikTok, and she does like, you know, like a duet or a response to a reaction to it. And it's her, this person shopping in Morphe, and, you know, that they're getting all of these sales, and it's a clearance thing at Morphe. So then Dani comes out, and Dani, thank you Dani for allowing me to use your, I'm using it, but anyway, putting her TikTok in my video. So anyway, so Dani comes out and she does a reaction to this girl shopping in the Morphe, and this is what Dani had to say.
Okay, so I want to preface this by saying no hate to that girly. I know that if I walked in on a closing sale, I'd be excited too, but that store is my store. I'm the store manager of that specific Morphe, and I just, again, no hate to her, you know, but it needs to be said because I don't know why I'm not hearing anything about it. I'm assuming no one knows because, again, haven't really heard anyone talk about it, but Morphe has been closing retail stores for like at least a year now. Hush hush, real quiet. They're telling everyone that it's due to like lease stuff. Anyway, so like I said, I'm the store manager of one of those Morphes. Tomorrow's actually my last day. We're packing up the store. They told us on the 22nd of December that our last day of business is the 26th of December, which is today. And then tomorrow we're just packing up the store and we don't have a job anymore. What is that? 4 or 5 days notice that we don't have a job anymore. Yeah, that's all we got. We do get severance, which I know someone that's getting 1 week. I know that myself, I've worked there for about a year and a half, and my other associate who's been there since the store opened over like 3 years ago, also 3-week severance. I just want to get the word out. I don't know why no one's talking about it, because there's been a lot of stores now. I've known people personally, other store managers, other associates for Morphe. Yeah, I just want to say justice for Morphe retail employees, because this is not right.
So, looks like Morphe is closing its doors, closing many of its doors. And this has been something that has been going on for quite some time now, as Dani said, and we have known that Morphe is closing store after store in this country, and that they are giving very, very little notice to their employees. And like Dani said, you know, some of the employees are getting severance packages. You know, it's interesting to me when I think about like a severance package, and like friends of mine, you know, through the years that have gotten severance packages when they have been let go or, you know, whatever, laid off. And I think of like a severance package of being like 6 months or a year. I don't think of a severance package being a week, you know. I think a week's payment is nice, that somebody says, okay, your last day is in 2 days, but we're going to pay you an extra week. I mean, I guess it's nice that they thought they were going to have a job in 2 weeks to pay their rent and put food on their table, and now they don't have that, so they give them a week's pay. But it's interesting to me still that they're, you know, I don't know. It's just, all of this is baffling to me, right? And so this comes out of this whole idea that Forma Brands, that is over Morphe, had, and I did a video about this, I think it was like 2 months ago. Forma Brands, that owns Morphe, there was all of this stuff that came out about them supposedly filing bankruptcy. And there were a lot of different reasons why they said they were going to file bankruptcy. And I want to read this article that I think it's from December 9th, just so that we can remind ourselves kind of what is going on here a little bit. Yeah, December 9th. Is Morphe going out of business? Is it closed in 2023? Is Morphe going out of business? Forma Brands, the parent company of Morphe, is considering Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The company has approximately $600 million or $600 million to $700 million in debt. One of the things I want to say, because when I did this originally and I talked about it in a video, I got so many comments about this. Chapter 11 bankruptcy can also kind of mean a reorganization of funds. It can mean that they are trying to find new financial backers. It can mean that they are trying to find new people to invest or reinvest in Forma Brands. So it doesn't necessarily mean that Forma Brands is closing down or that they're closing their doors. So it is interesting that Morphe is closing so many stores, because it's like they're taking their weakest link and they're getting rid of what is their weakest link in Forma Brands, which it must be Morphe, because Morphe is the one that is taking the biggest hit, right? So the article goes on to say, hold on, the company has approximately $600 million to $700 million in debt. People familiar with the process told Beauty Matter that the company was considering various options to strengthen its financial position, but that no final decision had been made. Forma Brands is involved in constructive discussions with its financial stakeholders. This is done regarding ways to strengthen the company financially. Also, it helps to reinforce their focus on the opportunities they see ahead for their brands. A company spokesperson said they are excited about the products and will keep bringing them to their customers. According to WWD, this has happened due to a combination of factors. Factors such as the pandemic, lowering demand for color cosmetics, and scandals involving Morphe's key faces, Jeffree Star and James Charles, may be the reason. Also, supply chain distributions have affected sales. Let us view in brief Morphe's financial considerations or conditions. Morphe cosmetics are also referred to as Morphe brushes. It is legally identified as Morphe Holdings, stylized as Morphe. It is a cosmetics and beauty manufacturing company based in Los Angeles, founded in 2008. The company provides direct-to-consumer digital retail distribution of personal care and cosmetics through collaborations with social media influencers. Morphe severed ties with several partners after they became deeply involved in controversy. Morphe Holdings revealed in August 2019 that it had formed a new collaboration with General Atlantic, which Dustin talks about in his video, which would acquire a significant stake. Further conditions of the transaction were not disclosed. However, Morphe's current shareholders will remain as the company's shareholders. Morphe.com, Morphe stores, Ulta.com, Ulta stores, and direct online Amazon.com stores are all authorized retailers of the company. Is Morphe in financial trouble? That's the next paragraph. Linda and Chris Tallwell are siblings who purchased Morphe in 2008. They bought them as at a trade show-based brush operation. This gradually built it into a packed beauty brand through influencer collaborations. General Atlantic, a private equity firm, obtained 60% stake in Morphe Cosmetics in 2019 for $2.2 billion, which basically is saying that Morphe was suffering so bad in 2019 that this General Atlantic came in and saved the day for Morphe. That Morphe would not be able to exist if it hadn't been for this General Atlantic, okay? Morphe was noted to be on track to do nearly $500 million in net sales with about $130 million at the time of the purchase, which apparently they probably did not do, which is why they are now still suffering. Forma Brands was founded shortly after the purchase in 2019. They formed a global growth-focused beauty forum. Also, it served as an incubator, accelerator, and curator of next-generation beauty products. The company also released Morphe 2, a skincare line called Bad Habit, and Jaclyn Hill's Jaclyn Cosmetics. They also purchased two brands of products from Manzanita-owned Space Products. They are Playa Beauty and the Lipstick Queen. COVID-19, the decline in the color cosmetic category, and supply chain issues have all troubled the company. Cutting relations with Jeffree Star and James Charles, two longtime cash cow collaborations following accusations of racism and sexual misbehavior, made these difficulties much worse. And then it goes on and it talks about, is Morphe still in business? A proposed class action complaint has been filed against Morphe Cosmetics. They state that it is intentionally engaged in misleading marketing, unfair business practices, and negligence. Product liability is in connection with the creation and distribution of inherently harmful makeup. And then it goes on to talk about all these different things. You know, it's interesting when you talk about Morphe as a brand, and you know, in the 6.5 years or more that I have been doing drama commentary and talking about Morphe, which a lot of people, whenever I talk about Morphe, are just like, it's kind of like a shit company, like their products aren't that great or whatever. I think we've always known that Morphe, their marketing was solely based on influencers, and it was Jeffree Star, Jaclyn Hill, and James Charles, right? Well, Jaclyn Hill hasn't been involved as in many controversies as James Charles and Jeffree Star, but at that time, I mean, if you think back, Jeffree Star was opening stores for Morphe brand. I mean, if we look back at like the Shane Dawson series, you know, when they opened that Morphe store, that was like a huge moment in that series for Jeffree and Shane. And now to think that stores are closing down and they have no product in their stores whatsoever, and they're selling product for 99 cents, $2, things like that, because they're just having major clearance sales and closing down this store, closing down that store, and not letting their employees have any notice whatsoever. It's crazy to think that that is what has happened in just a little bit amount of time, right? And, you know, it's easy to say, well, maybe they shouldn't have let go of Jeffree Star, or maybe they shouldn't have let go of James Charles. At the time, and I think that we have to go back and we have to remember what, you know, had happened at that time, James Charles was involved in like major controversies, you know? And this is also, you have to remember, Morphe wasn't selling a lot of James Charles palettes at that time. I mean, I would go into Ulta and there would be a clearance racks of James Charles palettes. I mean, they literally, I mean, it was like, you could dust them off. You couldn't get rid of those James palettes, you know? So it wasn't like Morphe was like still making tons of money off of James Charles at the time that they severed ties with James Charles, you know? I do believe that they felt like they were pushed into a corner with Jeffree Star because people were saying, well, you severed ties with James Charles, you need to do the same with Jeffree Star. And so I think that that's, and in all honesty, Jeffree Star made so much more money for Morphe than James Charles ever would like to make, you know? And that is just a reality. Do I think that in hindsight, 2020, you know, personally, I feel like in an integrity-based world, Morphe did the right thing by severing ties with Jeffree Star at that time? Do I think from a business point of view, they screwed the pooch? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think that they might not be in the financial trouble that they are in if they hadn't severed ties with Jeffree Star? Well, Jeffree Star's not financially doing as great as he was with his sales either right now. So I don't know that Jeffree Star and his cosmetic world would really be saving Morphe at this point either. The thing is that Morphe put all of their eggs in one basket, you know? That they even did, like, they didn't even talk about the D'Amelio, you know, sisters in here, that they started, I think, like, Morphe 2. Am I wrong, or am I making this up in my head? But didn't the D'Amelio sisters, Charlie and Dixie D'Amelio, didn't they do something with the Morphe brand too that you, like, really never heard a whole lot about? And so it's like the Morphe brand existed solely on influencer marketing. We don't live in that world anymore where influencer marketing is really helping businesses exist and do really, really well. So they weren't going after mainstream marketing. And when these influencers that they had based, it wasn't just that they were using influencers, it was also that they weren't finding new influencers, you know? They weren't reaching out to newer up-and-coming beauty influencers. They weren't broadening their horizons, except for maybe one or two here and there. They weren't really broadening their horizons with finding new influencers to work with other than the D'Amelio sisters. They were just working with the same three over and over and over again. You know, James, which, you know, his palette, his mini palette, Jeffree and his mini all of the collaborations that he did, or the sales of Jeffree Star Cosmetics in Morphe stores that he did, and then Jaclyn Hill and all of the things that she did, right? Which is why people speculated for so long that Jeffree and Jaclyn had, you know, stakeholdings in Morphe Cosmetics, because it just seemed that way, you know? So they weren't really going outside of that. Well, when you put all of your eggs in one basket, and that basket has 3 eggs, and those eggs are Jaclyn Hill, who has Lipstick Gate, Jeffree Star, who has massive amounts of scandals, and James Charles, who is canceled, okay? Your egg basket doesn't look real good, okay? It kind of looks like scrambled eggs, and you're screwed. And what you should have done at that point was start reaching out to other influencers. But at that point, Morphe had such a bad name, and people were already like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to buy Morphe anymore, and this is what they represent, and this is who they support, and things like that, you know? And that's kind of what happened to them. And that was really the beginning of the downfall of Morphe Cosmetics. So now we see they're at the end of the 4th quarter, okay, of 2022, and they're having to clean up, and they've been closing stores since late September, early October, and now people are really starting to talk about it. When you go on TikTok, I mean, there's a lot of people that are talking about these closing stores. There's a lot of these clearance shopping things. There's tons of people over there that are talking about how Morphe is closing its doors, and that it's a huge story that people aren't talking about, you know, and that she says in there, I want more people to know about this. I can't believe that more people aren't talking about this. So I'm using your TikTok to talk about it. So thank you. The next thing I want to talk about is this Reddit thread that I found, and it says, so all the Morphe stores are closing, or are they staying online only? And it's this TikTok that goes in to show this person shopping in the store, and they show their receipts, and they show like the shelves. Here, I'll throw up a picture here somewhere of like the shelf that they post on there of like how the shelves are all completely empty, the store is completely empty and whatnot. And then underneath here it says, not surprising. I'm going to just read you some of the comments that people said. Not surprising. I know they're going through another new lawsuit. And somebody said, what lawsuit is that? And somebody said, Playa is suing. And somebody said, on what grounds? I can't find anything on Google. Dustin talks about it at length in his video. Somebody said, probably with the bankruptcy filing, they probably want to save as much money as they can. Somebody said, and to think that just a few years ago, they had Jafar Starfish opening store after store. Somebody said, it's actually crazy the way the beauty guru community collapsed, and it's actually so interesting. I'd love to see a documentary about it. It's crazy because we were there real time watching it collapse. And somebody actually just posted the other day, they posted like Jeffree, it was like a 4-part picture thing, you know, on Twitter, and it was like a picture of Jeffree doing his apology video in the brown sweater, and then Tati, where she's crying, and you know, the video, and James Charles and Shane Dawson, and it said, you had to be there to know, and I was like, it is really true, you know, like, to really understand the full effect of how this all went down, like, you really had to be there, and I think that's the thing, for those of us that were there from the beginning of all of this, I mean, from them getting all of these collaborations and helping Morphe build up and all this kind of stuff, you know, this is why I say, you know, be careful be careful whose shoulders you're standing on when you are walking up to the tower, because when you fall back down, those are the same people that you're going to pass on your way down, And it's interesting to me. I wonder how many of these beauty gurus are coming into contact with the people whose shoulders they stepped on the way up, And I just think a lot of it is just like bad business practices, Back in the day, they go, oh, it's just drama. What we're not going to do is Jeffree Star would say that about the drama. Well, the drama killed your business. Okay, that's the truth. The drama killed your business. So anyway, somebody else said in here, yeah, I think it's because it went from actual beauty stuff to very much like a Mean Girls reality show. Don't get me wrong, I was living for the drama. Somebody said, and James Charles, and somebody said, oh, he cursed them. That makes sense. Somebody said, I'm forever mad at myself for attending one of those grand openings. That was before I knew. Okay, somebody said, don't worry, I have hundreds of dollars worth of his makeup in my drawers and can't bring myself to throw it out. Talking about Jeffree Star. Somebody said, I feel bad for the workers. And this is exactly how I feel, okay? Somebody said, me too. Nix in Canada closed their storefronts too, so there's really not many makeup stores left to work at except counters at Sephora. Somebody said, I was wondering what happened. Okay, they go on in the same. Okay. So they go in here and they talk a lot about the Nix store that closed. But then people said, I worked at a cosmetic store and left before they closed. It's been a few years since the storefronts in my state closed, and all of us have either left or make next to nothing at Ulta. I'm in corporate finance now, but it breaks my heart seeing other super talented women that have no opportunity to continue the cosmetic skills they had. And somebody said, is that why I've been seeing so much Morphe stuff in TJ Maxx? I wonder. Somebody said, if I liked Morphe, I consider seeing if the Burbank store was closing. That said, I'm not shocked. And then they go on and talk about all this kind of stuff. I mean, this is a huge thread, you guys. Somebody said these are the prices Morphe should have had all along, which is true. I mean, people complained about the price of Morphe all along, and they said it was junk cosmetics, and that it wasn't worth $52 for a Jeffree Star palette and things like that. Y'all are coming. Listen, I've been saying it for years, and y'all are just now coming to your senses. Whatever. Anyway, so apparently Morphe is closing its doors and it is not giving its employees much notice, which is really, really sad, especially going into the new year, and I don't know what they're going to do, but it's interesting. It'll be interesting to me also, and I don't know what class action lawsuit this would look like, but if all these employees got together, I'm not suggesting this. Reach out to an attorney, because I don't know. I'm just Peter Monn over here. I make YouTube videos, okay? But it would be interesting if all of these, I mean, I'm sure that they signed some kind of work contract that says that they can be laid off or, terminated, at whatever's moment's notice. But it would be interesting to see if there was like some class action lawsuit that came from like all of these employees, of like mistreatment of termination or something like that. I mean, weirder things have happened. I don't know how that would happen or how that would work. But anyway, let me know what you think about all of that in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.